Hey, all right, y'all. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Welcome to another episode from the battle to the glory. Yes, we are here. And know this, we are blessed and highly favored. God has blessed us with another day. And know that God is moving in our lives. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Jesus. Elohim. Yahshua. Yes, he is here with us. Listen, today, guys, maybe this week, Lady T will be out. She is not feeling well. She is under the weather, but all prayers to her. We are praying for her that she comes with a speedy recovery. So we be praying for her that she come back with us with full fire, okay? And of course, we got our brother from another mother, Rodney Glover, the host of Dad Mentality. Yes.
Good.
So, Rodney, tell us about our weekend, man. Let's go, man.
Oh man, Chef Dennis, all excited. I mean, you should go ahead and tell us. How long,
Listen, man.
I
Listen,
man, I
y'all.
got to hang out with Chef Dennis. We got to go out and have lunch together, and then just enjoy the time. Definitely enjoy the time talking to you, and just bonding. And then later, me and my beautiful wife went out and saw you get crowned. Ooh, crown. Ooh, crowd, you know what I'm saying? But it was a great event.
Word, man.
I definitely enjoyed my wife was blown away by it. She was very impressed that she was like, this is such a great event to have all these men here praising God, worshiping and just, doing such an amazing job. The choir was amazing, the production was great. Everything was really, really, really good. I enjoyed it. The worst part was you coming up there talking, but other than that, everything else was really good. It was I could definitely see why you would want to be a part of such a movement like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, Me myself, I'm an introvert, but I don't know. Whatever God leads me to do, we'll see. I've learned I'm trying to keep on learning not to tell God what I don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how that usually works out. So I'm just working on definitely making sure that I don't tell him what to do, what not to do. My son has been sick. He caught that he got that flu thing that's going around with these youngins and so just taking care of him. I started the job on Monday. It's been good. I've been training the last couple days. Trying to get ready for it. But I'm excited about new things, a new start, getting into a lot of new opportunities to travel, opportunities to, make some money and be able to do some more things with my family. So I'm all excited about it all, bruh. Life is good. God is good. I'm working on I've been working on my thing for tomorrow. God's led me to talk about something different than I did before. So, for tomorrow for the men's Bible study, I plan on leading and I got a good word. So, good word from God that, I just got to finish that up too. I'm trying to finish that up as well. So, but to be honest with you, man, I'm blessed, bro. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I got a beautiful wife. I got beautiful kids. My daughter's back in town. I got a beautiful family support system, everything. So I mean, things become busy, but when you really peel back all the layers of the bills and all that other kind of stuff, man, you really got to take time to just understand how blessed you are to wake up in the morning, how blessed you are to have great people in your life, how blessed I am to be able to come on this show with Chef Dennis and and Lady T. Really is Lady T, but I'm sad she's not here. But I'm just blessed, brother, and that's all I can be. What's up, Lucas?
Well, know this, man. Listen, man. It was a great weekend. The one thing about King Movement was changing the narrative. That's big. Just changing the narrative. Where they say men can't worship God, men can't come together and truly, worship. And so it's about changing the narrative. We are kings because we become leaders of our family and disciples of Jesus Christ. And so how do we do that? Uh, Definitely amongst one another. Being accountable for our actions, and just being lovers of God, to one another. And you don't see that often. You don't see male bonding without looking at you and say, "Oh, he all soft, he weak." Nah, it's male bonding because Jesus Christ does not have a specific on love. Love is an action. You got to show it. And so, how do you show it to a man and not say, "Well, he's kind of funny"? Nah, because your heart posture changes when you decide to live for God. It changes, so you have a genuine love for one another. And so that's what King Movement was about this weekend, man. It was lovely, man. Yes, I got crowned with another some other friends. It was wonderful, man. It was wonderful, bro. And I, like Roddy said earlier, we was hanging out together, man, just talking, breaking bread, getting more acquainted with one another, just bonding more. You know what I'm saying? And it was a great time. And it was snowing, and then all of a sudden later on, the sun came out, just melted all that daggone snow away. And when I say snow, y'all, it was snowing. Okay. I was like,
Yeah.
good night, man. I said, right, I didn't come down with no coat. I came down with a hoodie. That's it. But nevertheless, the weather was great though. It turned out to be real nice, smooth. And I'm so excited. I can't even wait for next year. But this is a new journey, not only new journey for myself, but other men that were a part of getting crowned. Is definitely something more men should be connected with, because guess what? It's going to strengthen you, but not only strengthen you, it's going to guide you to live for God and always be held accountable in the right sense, with love, not judgmental, just always, there for one another, man. Like I always say, women do it all the time. They don't even know one another and they get together. It's like, oh my goodness, it's like they sisters. Automatically they sisters. They gonna have a little gossip, but guess what? They bond real quick. And that's the importance of King Movement, man. Just bonding with one another. Because like I said, without that, man, listen, men go through life thinking they supposed to do it all by themselves. Change the narrative. That's part of it. That's part of changing the narrative. You don't have to do it by yourself. You do not have to go through your struggles by yourself. You don't have to sit in the dark and say, you know what? I'll figure it out. No, God said, I got somebody for you to help you through your tough times. And they don't have to be your wife, because you and your wife may be going through something. And guess what? You got a brotherhood. You got brothers that's going to look for you and say, yo, what's going on? And not be nosy, but truly say, you know what, man, I too went through that. And that's the way. That's the way. I too went through that. So guess what? Now you encourage them because look where I'm at now. Because I've been through that. And so we need that. We need that encouragement. You know what
And
I'm saying?
let's
And so,
since we are talking about uncomfortable truths, why don't we start with that one?
no
Why
doubt.
don't we start? Why don't we start with the uncomfortable truth of why us as men don't share with each other? Why we don't have these things? And I mean, I can talk for myself, and I think it
Yeah, yeah.
it definitely has a lot to do with one that as young men, we that's how we're taught. We're taught to hey, mind your business. You don't talk. Whatever happens in the house stays in the house. We're taught that, and especially and even in our culture, you know what I'm saying. We're taught to bottle, suck it up. We're taught that crying is a weakness. We are taught that showing any emotion besides anger, you know what I'm saying, is a sign of weakness. And a lot of times, even in our childhood, let's be honest, man. I know in my childhood, I was not a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody exposed any kind of weakness to me, I destroyed them. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I have to repent for now, and something that I've worked. I've already asked for forgiveness. But you know, it's a lot of it's a lot of childhood things that we did as children, or that our parents even instilled on us, or the neighborhood instilled in us. You know what I'm saying? Like it was kind of like what you was taught to be. Is like you've been taught all your life, like we was talking earlier. It's like you've been taught all your life to be one way. You know what I'm saying? Or, throughout my childhood, I was taught to be one way. I could not express how I was feeling to my friends in middle school. They would have fried me. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's definitely something that I feel like we need to change now with our kids and with the kids that we run into, and deal with and things like that, because it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way, that we have to feel like vulnerability is some type of weakness. So, but that's truthfully why these things like the King's movement is important. Why things like, us as men being working with the youth group, us as men working with our children and things like that, to, like you said, change that narrative. Because but it is an uncomfortable truth, though. It took me a long time to be willing to be vulnerable in front of people and be okay with it. You know what I'm saying? Even now, being on this show, being vulnerable, I get text messages, I get things like that. But now I'm so secure in God and so secure in myself that it don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? But it should be a point where we can have these conversations and people don't, get upset or try to belittle you because of it. I don't know
D-
what you think, Chuck.
no, just think about this. Like you said, Rodney. Childhood trauma keeps you in a dark place. Let's say you've been abused, yeah, physical abuse. I ain't talking about sexual. We talking about physical. It keeps you in a place of quietness, and then when someone brings it out, it gets you uncomfortable. And I think these are some of the things that look at the young generation. Look at the young generation. What are they? They're focused on money, fashion, and how do they come out of something when they were broken as a child nowadays? How do they come out? We have to be men like myself and yourself. We have to be a living example for them, and so we teach them how to really love one another. If they're not being taught how to love, how can they love? They have this sense of idea what love looks like by TV, by social media. No, because that's not real love.
Yeah.
Real love starts from home. If you're not getting it at home and you getting out in the real world, it doesn't mean that you can't get out in the real world the right love. But let's be real. Social media has these children thinking what love is about money, what love is how to have a good relationship, a good marriage, how to go into a good marriage. They selling sex outside of marriage. And so how can that generation grow? And so this is what I don't want to just focus on King movement, but as a man, this is what it is about. Teaching the young generation and being an example, standing in the gap for them, so they'll understand what it is to be a man and a husband, and what it's supposed to be like. Everybody's marriage is going to be different, but we still have a standard and how to truly love our wives, our children, not just yelling at them. You yell at your child every day. What's going to happen? They're going to have this sense of I'm always getting yelled at. So what kind of emotion rod are they on? If you wake up in the morning, get up in the morning, yelling in their ear. As soon as they wake up, you yelling in their ear. You're not coming in and say, good morning, come on, guys. It's time for school, but you yelling. How do they feel when you yelling at them early in the morning? When you come home, they yelling. When you come home, they're cursing. There's no food. There's no what
Anxiety.
kind of anxiety? What kind of sense of life are they going to have? Doesn't know the circumstance. We don't know the circumstance. We don't know the situation. But what? How are they going to feel? Just think about it. If somebody yelled at you every day, how would you feel? You gonna come like, oh yeah, happy and smiling? No, you're not. So the young generation, they get that sometimes. Parents come home, they had a rough day, long day. Guess what? They're yelling at the kids. Get in the room. Do this. They're not speaking no life into them. They're not keeping them encouraged. So now you building up this young man and this animosity, this rough place. Guess what? They might go in their room and cry, but they won't cry in front of dad because why? Dad said, "What you crying for?" Like you said, Rodney, what you crying for? Wipe them tears from your eyes. Never
I'll give you something to cry for.
Look, never ask them. But guess what, right? I ain't gonna just bash the dads because guess what? Let's look at they might have not had that relationship with their dad. And so they're doing the best they can do to raise their kids. And that's the first thing they say. Shut up, boy. I'm gonna give you something to cry about, but didn't ask them, why are you crying, son? What's wrong? You had a rough day at school? Somebody was picking on you? No, they don't do that. And in my generation, I mean, that's what I saw. You all right? You a boy. You fall on your knees, you get your knees scraped, and you cry, get up. You a boy. You don't supposed to cry. Mental. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so these men grow up not knowing how to live a life of lack of. Now I say live lack of emotion.
Well, the word is emotional
intelligence.
Emotional intelligence, exactly. Yeah.
So and then look, some of the older men get stuck in their ways, and then they feel like they can't learn. You know what? I lived on this earth so long, and I can't learn now. That what kind of sense of mindset is that? I can't learn from nobody else. I may be doing it wrong, but now here it is a young person, younger than me, living right and trying to explain to me, well, you can't think like this. I'll give you a prime example. Somebody says to you, Rodney, I know God is real. I don't believe, but I know God is real.
What do you mean? I don't understand that statement because if you know he's real, but
here's an uncomfortable truth for you. You know God is real, and God requires you to live a life a certain way, but you don't live it. But you know God is real. If He tell you this is how you're supposed to be, but you don't live the way you supposed to, how you know God is real?
Well, you can know. For a long time, I knew God was real. But sometimes you don't know something, and I'm just playing devil's, but I mean, the thing about it is you only know what you know. You know what I'm saying? So once you know God is real and you start developing a relationship with Him, then you'll start learning that things. The great thing that the world has done is convinced us that sin isn't sin. And you may grew up in a house where this wasn't a sin, where this was normal. This was, like you said, you wake up every day, your parents wake up every day cursing you out. You know what I'm saying? Your parents wake up every day. If that's how your life is, then you don't know the difference. Like, for instance, I can give you a great instance.
Yeah, go ahead.
Danny Humble, I can say his name, I don't even care. Danny Humble was the white kid in my neighborhood. Right? And I had the real black kid to white kid experience. I went over his house and he got all the games. He got his room is all, he got all the games, he got all the junk. I'm like, oh yeah. So I come in this room and we sitting there, we playing Nintendo. I can tell you this like it was yesterday. Double Dribble. Playing Double Dribble, his mother come in the room. His mother come in the room and was like, how you gonna have company in here with this dirty room, blah, blah, blah. And he turned to his mother and said, B, get the F out of my room.
Huh?
And I said, what? You know what I'm saying? I went and snatched my Nintendo controller out of the joint, right? Popped, my game was on the joint. I took my game, I put it in my bag, and I went home. And not only did I go home, I went home and told my mother what happened because I was worried that his mother was going to call my mother and said I participated in that. I was terrified, bruh. But then I call my wife, my mother tells me, some people don't, that's how they're going at home. And then I was over there another day, and his father didn't he that's the only thing he called his mother. His father he called her a B every other word. And this is how their house was. And Danny Humble didn't know better. He thought that's how every house was. He's sitting there telling me that, yeah, that don't happen in your house. I'm like, no, not at all. No, in no way possible does that happen in my house. You know what I'm saying? Nah, no way possible. And guess what? Some people don't know. The thing is, you only know what you know. Now, once you get a relationship with God, God will start convicting you on these things. You know, and I've had several guys that I've talked to and mentored and told me that was their house. Like they thought calling their wife these names was almost a term of endearment, because that's how much and how what you call it. And you know, turns out in Danny Humble's Danny Humble father was aggressive and stuff like that. And I mean, yeah, that job was crazy. But you know, it just happened. That's just somehow how some people's lives are. But the thing about it is, and going back to what you're saying, you can know God, but you don't know God until you build a relationship with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know he exists. You can believe that he can exist. God could have performed a miracle or performed something in your life that lets you know that there was no other way you would have got out of this except for the grace of God. And you can understand that he exists, but you don't know his ways until you build a relationship with him. I think that goes back to the whole conversation that we always have about, you know, when people go to churches talking to Desmond, you know what I'm saying? Like when you come in here and you just start inflicting things on people like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. You got to first help them build a relationship with God. Because now they don't understand. Half the time people don't understand when you just throwing rules and regulations at them left and right. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand that what's going on, the real purpose of these rules, the real purpose of these regulations, unless you have that relationship with God in mind. That's just my opinion.
No. Just hey, listen. So I was doing some homework, right? And just here's some uncomfortable truths for you. 7 types of people you shouldn't have in your life. The unrepentant. Stop helping those who refuse to change. I said they refuse to change. The unrepentant. They look. They said, I ain't repenting to no God. So why would you be in the midst of people like that? They refuse to even accept God. Those are some people you need to know. If they're in your life, you don't need to have them in your life because they're not doing anything. This is about discerning how to have the right community. The manipulator. That some people don't want to help. They want to control. The manipulator. They want to control you. They don't want to help. They want to control. And then you know the division. The division, they like to have separate. They like to keep you in that type of space. God will not bless those who divide his people. He ain't gonna bless nobody that divides people.
Sometimes these people don't know that now don't get me wrong, there are people that do know that they are these things. But there's some people that don't know that they're these things. There's some people that actually have, and I'm being honest, you know, and just, you know, I'm not saying that this is always true, but sometimes there are people that have good hearts that don't know they have that spirit. You get what I'm saying? Like they generally had. Now there's some people that just know they got that spirit. You know what I'm saying? So you got both parts, but I do believe that it is some part that there's a difference between, like, the first one you talked about, the unrepenting. You know, there are people that are definitely like that. You know what I'm saying? But there are people that don't realize they have that spirit. Because like I said, I'm a real strong believer in that people that the world has done a great job in making things that are sin not look like sin, look like it's normal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you look at TV today, they're trying to normalize a lot of things. They're trying to normalize. I talk about it all the time. Like, you can't even watch anything without them trying to put some kind of agenda or some kind of narrative down your throat. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they want to do. They want to normalize some things, because some people don't realize that it is a sin until you have that uncomfortable truth type conversation with them. Some people don't understand that what they're doing is narcissistic. So, yeah. How you doing, Harrison? And I know what SITL means, sir. Y'all don't gotta have y'all little secret code and everything. I was there, sir. I saw you. I saw y'all get crowned and everything. So, but no, it was a very good. I don't know if you heard the first part, Harrison, but it was a very great event. I did enjoy, seeing you guys getting crowned and stuff like that too. And I don't want to, I mess with Chef Dennis, but I don't want to diminish what the King movement is doing and what I see that it is definitely a great thing. So, but y'all don't got to try to have your own little secret code. That's all I got to say. So anyway, but go ahead. I'm sorry. We back.
Look, the fourth one is the drainer. Some people that don't want to change, they just want to vent, complain, or talk. That's it. The worshiper. Now watch this. This is a tricky one. This is a slippery slope where the first thing I said, I was like, huh? What do you mean, God? The worshiper. If someone is becoming more dependent on you than on God, that is a dangerous signal. Stop immediately. You know what I'm saying? I said the worshiper, somebody that's worshiping you and not giving God the reverence. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? See, these are some of the things that and guess what? This is some
that's dangerous for both of y'all.
Yeah, you allowing that person to worship you and not say, hold up, this ain't me, this God. And you're not saying nothing. What happens then? That's a prideful mindset. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh yeah, you look at me. Yeah, everybody.
You start thinking you doing something. You start thinking you be like, yeah. You be like, you give them some good advice and it worked. And you like, yeah, look what I did, type of situation. Nah, I get that. That is something I definitely pray about all the time, especially when I'm talking to people and trying to help them through situations. I want to make sure I tell them all the time, hey, look, take whatever I give you and go to God with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't just take what I say. You know what I'm saying? If I give you some advice on a situation because we talking about it, I don't want you to just take what I say. I want you to take what I say and go to God with it, and then listen to what God has to say. And then sometimes I get directed by God not to say anything. You know what I'm saying? Not to say anything. There was a point in time with a friend of mine where God told me to shut up. He told me to stop talking to him about it. You know what I'm saying? To stop and I had to listen and obey. You know what I'm saying? And then you understand what God is trying to do, because a lot of times, like you said, with that, and not to say I'm not saying that this person was worshiping me by any means, but it still became a point where I was giving them so much advice that they weren't going to God with it. They was just taking my advice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the dangerous part on both ends. Because then you can, even though I feel like I'm trying to do what God wants me to do, I still can't replace him. You know what I'm saying? I still can't replace that moment, that time with God. It's gotta go to God. And even on this show, I say it now. I'm gonna keep on saying it. If I do give you advice or you do hear something that applies to you, take it to God. Still take it to Him. You know what I'm saying? And because He's the ultimate person. I'm not. I'm just the guy talking on a mic. You know what I'm saying?
The vessel. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, still just the guy talking on the mic, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like if once this mic go off, I'm on about my business. I don't know I impacted who I impacted, but you know what I'm saying? But my goal is still always to lead people to build that relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? To build to lead people to understand that God is great and understand that, you know, if you take it to him, he will take care of you and have that faith and have that that blind faith. You know what I'm saying? To know that God, anything that God is leading you through or anything that God is taking you to, is going to be for your good, even if you can't see it right now. You know what I'm saying? So,
I got two more things, right? Before I get into those two things, those two different types of people that you want to keep out your life. Let me ask you something. You were saying something, and it had just came to me. So Rodney, so look, check this out. How do you tell somebody, right? They're going through. Right? I'm talking about they going through. And they don't have a relationship with God. How do you speak to them so they begin to have a relationship with God? They don't want to hear nothing about God. So, and I know sometimes I want to hear your answer though. How do you speak to them, encourage them to come to God? And they going through. I'm talking about they might have lost their house, they might have lost their car, they might have lost a loved one, you know what I'm saying? And now they in a position they don't know where to go. How would you lead them to Christ and try to encourage them to be encouraged to come to God, because God can do all things? How would you tell them?
I tell them my story, bro.
Okay.
I believe that my testimonies, and I say it with the S, my testimonies are the best way for me to connect with someone. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter what they're going through, and then the other thing is sometimes you gotta obsess the thing, because like you said, some people don't want different. You know what I'm saying? They don't want change. If I'm telling you all these things, you tell me, "Oh, I don't want to believe in God," then I'm gonna stop talking to you. Because if you're not at that place, then I'm a believer. Then I'm going to wait till you get there. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe that God. Look, man. So here's something I believe that's kind of like an uncomfortable truth. I believe that God is going to get you to the point where you'll look up at him. You know what I'm saying? Sometime in your life, I believe that every one of us has been in that position where we had to make a choice. You know what I'm saying?
That's the word right there, choice.
Where we had to make a choice. And I believe that sometimes people are not there. For a long time, I wasn't there. For a long time, I was running from God. You know what I'm saying? But there becomes a time where you got to make that choice, and God will get you to that point where you got to make that choice, and you can make it. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is that when people, like, I talk about my nephew all the time, my door is always open for him. I love him to death, but I keep on telling him the same thing. Call me when you want different. Call me when you're tired of that life. Call me when, if you're not calling me during that time, then I ain't got nothing for you, bro. And that don't mean I don't love him. I love him with all my heart. But at this point, I can't help you. If you don't want help, I can't help you. Because if no matter what I do, if you're just going to run back to the streets, then like sometimes like Philip Anthony Mitchell said, then I'm praying you to the streets, bro. Like, I can't do nothing to you. I gotta wait until you hit that bottom. And when you hit that bottom, I'll be here. You know what I'm saying? My door will always be open, but if you ain't hit that bottom and you don't want different, then there's not much I can do for you. You know what I'm saying? There's not much I can do for you, because then I can introduce you to the person, and all I'm going to do is introduce to the person that can get you out of that. The person that can help you get where you change your life. You know what I'm saying? Meeting God is a life-changing event. You know what I'm saying? And it's not for the faint of heart. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people think it's just rainbows and unicorns or something. Like, oh, now I gave myself to God. Now everything's going to be good. Nah, bruh. It's not. Because now God got to change your heart. And believe me, that's a lot harder. In my opinion, changing my heart was definitely difficult. God made it a way and gave me the strength. And because I can rely on him, I was able to do it. But let's be honest, you're going against yourself daily. You know what I'm saying? If that's not an uncomfortable truth, I don't know what one is. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to chime, and it's not the same a refute or a rebuttal or what you said, right? But I always, when I hear people say this, God changed them. No, your desire to live for God changed. God don't, because if God changed your heart, right, then it wouldn't be free will. So as you continuously seek out God, that's what changes your desire to live for God, your desire to study his word, to show thyself approved. And what does that consist of? You reading the word of God, praying to God that God fix me, renew me. You got what I'm saying? So
I don't think
God,
I don't know if you have a habit that you love. I don't know that. No, I'm just talking. I don't know. I don't know if you have a habit that you love. I love alcohol. I actually like drinking it.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
To. Wait a minute, let's play that up.
Hold on. No, I currently still love alcohol.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I currently do. Yeah. So this is what I'm. But hold on, let me finish. Yeah. Because you said what you had to say, and this is why I believe that God took it away. Now, he took it away because I asked him to.
There you go.
He took it away because I get it, but
that's
it's still
the key word.
But here's the thing. You say that I want to change for God. No. I would love to have a drink right now.
Okay.
If I could make my favorite drink, I would. You know what I'm saying? I can make my favorite drink, but I'm choosing not to. But just like every day, I choose not to. You know what I'm saying? Every day that I choose not to get drunk is a choice that I make. But God I believe, and you don't have to agree with me, but I believe that God took that desire away from me. God took that desire where I can have a drink and don't desire anymore. You know what I'm saying? But back in the day, like back in the day, a half a gallon was Tuesday. Like I would drink a half a gallon almost every day, bruh. I went to the liquor store every other day to buy a half a gallon. So you can't. It's hard for me, being who I am, to sit here and say I did it I did it because of my love for God. No, I didn't. I actually still like alcohol. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe I'm not there yet. I just don't get it. And to me, it's God. It ain't me. It ain't me at all.
No, I got you right. So look, that's where deliverance come from. You ask God. See, so when you say God deliver me from that, that's when God intervenes and changes, because you ask him to deliver you. You know what I'm saying?
But he changed my heart. I didn't.
Because you asked him. See, look, like Dr. Toy said, that's called deliver. You say, God, because I can't do it under my own, I want you to deliver me from that, because
But I was just going against what you said, because you was like, well, you're changed because you have the love for God. I'm like,
your desire changed.
I do, but I still like a drink. I still
but look, and
you know what I'm saying?
And to show the audience, to show people that it's not a perfect, it's not a perfect life. That's what we teach at, and that's where the deliverance come at. Because guess what? In due time, you pray God to deliver you from that. Guess what? You won't even have a taste of that. You won't have a desire for that, because God will remove it in due time. Because it's a process. A deliverance is a process. Don't happen overnight, because guess what? God already know that you're going to fall to it. And so it's a process. It's a process that has to happen, because that's where your growth come at. You look back and you say, wow, look where God brought me from. Look at his mighty works. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's where it all boils down to, at the end of the day, that's where the most important thing is asking God to deliver you from whatever. Because I always like we talk about this all the time. I
I agree,
always
Dr.
say,
Toya.
what?
Nah, she said deliverance can be instant too.
Okay,
Yeah, it can be. I'm not.
It can be.
We're not arguing. I'm not saying that. I was just saying I agree with. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it. I get it.
it definitely
Hey,
can.
you ain't called Dr. T? Send Dr. T the link. Tell her to come on and join us.
No, she got a show tonight. She got a
Oh
show.
yeah.
7. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's hers. Is I would have. But we
Sarah?
talked. No, we actually talked today, and I was going to ask, but then I realized that today is her day.
Yeah, Dr. Toya, I had to tell you the King's movement was good. I'm not going to join it, but it was good. You know what I'm saying?
Don't say that.
I'm not joining it unless God asks me to. But I don't think.
All right.
You know, look, man. At this point,
what?
I'm good though. Yeah. He gonna have to get me a sponsor then, cause.
I'm about to get you a sponsor.
Yeah, for me to join, I need a sponsor. Like, yeah, it's gonna have to be some things. I don't know. We'll see though. Yeah, it's good. It was a little fraternity-ish. Dr. T. It wasn't cultish. It was more fraternity-ish. But you know, I let it go. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Rodney.
But it was a good thing though. Hey, Dr. T, it was a good thing. It was a lot of great, you know, having a lot of great men in one place worshiping God like they were doing was amazing to watch and be a part of. You know what I'm saying? But I'm good. My wife called it what she called it? She called it a mega side Jesus. That's what she called it.
I was getting ready to say to you, Rodney. That's the look. What fraternity you know? Look,
I said fraternity-ish, Harrison.
I know, but look, that's right. Let them know, baby. Let them know.
I don't need no King's movement guys showing up in my door tomorrow.
Look, watch this. I was getting ready
to say
I said
it was a great thing. Yeah. A mega side Jesus. That's what my wife said. Yeah.
That's it. Because, but at the end of the day, look, this is the thing. I could be wrong, which I'm not. I'm gonna stand on this. I don't know any fraternity that stands for Christ like that.
Nah, I don't know any either, but I'm just
saying. I don't know none. No fraternity.
I know one now.
All right. That stand
I know one now.
Like that. And it's not to knock anybody that's in a fraternity, but I'm just talking about any fraternity that stands for Christ like that. I don't know, bro. I don't know. You feel me? I don't know. So at the end of the day, standing for Jesus is something totally dynamic. Standing for Jesus is like no other. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't know. You feel me?
Yeah, I hear you.
But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? When you standing for God, there's nothing else but love, but peace.
Like I said, brother, it's good for you. I'm an introvert like that. I don't do nothing where I got to be a part of that. So,
I mean, look, listen. You got, like you said, you got to be moved and see. My main focus is, and will always be, is helping men come to Christ and understand it's a safe space to be in. Not only a safe space, but that's what we need, encouragement. Like I said, I'm gonna keep on saying the women do it all the time. They do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, that's where it's supposed to be. That's what a heart is. That's what a heart posture. It starts with the husbands. It starts with the men. When you think about the men not being in the home, what it does to the home. When you have a man of faith, when I have the man of God, and guess what? He's standing on God's word. Guess what? That's a strong foundation, and everybody, participate. Everybody wins. Yes. Yes. He said some do it with flaws. Yes, they do. Yes. That's why it's important for the men to stand in the gap for their family so they can know what it's supposed to be like when you're doing it right. The uncomfortable truth when you're doing it right. Because everybody out here think they're doing it and they're not doing it right. And how do we get the right representation of what it looks like to be a man of God, the word of God. Without the word of God, you can be lost. You know what I mean? Yes, at men's conference, men are encouraged to be
Depending on the women's conference, bruh.
Huh?
Depending on the women's conference. All women's conference don't teach them that, but I got you. I hear you.
Hey, no. Hey, look, what you mean?
I hear you. Not all women's conferences teach you that. There's, I haven't been to, but I've seen some things where I know that they don't teach. They don't teach. They teach women to be helpers. That the husband is supposed to be leader, and they teach them how to help them be leaders and things like that, and not be the boss, of their household. Now, a lot they might teach them be the boss in the court in their jobs or whatever the case may be. But a lot of them will teach, when you ain't got to be, if you got the right husband, you know what I'm saying? You got to have the right husband. You got to be equally yoked as well. So, on both parts. So,
He said, I've been to several and I shared this with no aggravation. They teach women empowerment and it's not centered in spiritual and scripture. Yeah.
See? No, I've seen that too. I'm not saying it isn't true, Harrison, sir. I'm just saying not all. That's all I said. Yeah, I said not all. That's all. But I've seen that too. I'm not saying it isn't. It is not true, sir. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying that it's not all. You just got to find the right one. You got to find the right one. Speaking of that, I'm going to relationship. I'm going to my relationship conference. I signed up for that. I'm excited about that. For my, from my church, it's a great thing that we have in Virginia Beach. So I'll be down there. I'll be down there for that in late May.
Okay,
so we gotta talk about that too. But
Hey, now check this out, Rodney.
Yes, sir.
I was just talking, and the men. He said, "Look,
I don't know who AB."
It says single men are not yoked. I look. I'm about to get into this right here. Watch this. It's crazy that he put that up there. Single men are not yoked. But listen, check this out. I'm gonna put this up there too. I was talking to a gentleman, and I said to him, it's important to where you get your counsel from. Let's say that you're a man that's looking to get married, and counseling should come from a person that's been married, that's married more than 10 years. What do you think about that? Do you think a person that's getting ready to get married?
Nah, what? Hold on. Go ahead and ask your question. I'm sorry.
I said a person that's getting ready to get married versus getting counsel from a person that's never been married.
No. No, if I go to counseling, I go to counseling, it has to be a first of all, I want a man, I want a Christian man, and I want him to be married because I want him to be able to relate with what I'm talking about. If he can't relate with what I'm talking about, then I don't care about how many years he went to school. I need you to talk to me from experience. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't need for you to tell me what the book tells you to say. I need you to tell me what you actually did if you have a successful relationship. If you have a successful relationship, then that's what I want you to talk about. I'm gonna get the name for you.
Okay.
Harrison. Yeah.
Roddy, look at this. Yeah. Look what this ties into. These are the last two types of people that you don't want to be, entangled with. The willful rebellious. If they know what God requires, but consistently choose to rebel and resist, you cannot walk with them. This last one, the distraction to your mission. Not everyone in your circle is connected to your calling. And we talk about the counseling. Where do you get your counseling from? And so these are the things that, men don't look for. If they do, they go into the wrong hands and they get the counsel from the wrong people. And so now that leads them in a disarray, or if not disarray, it leads them in a place of sadness, misery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it just says Elevate Church presents Happily Ever After Relationship Conference. But if you go to Elevate Church VA, you can sign up. I know
so let me address
the seating is limited.
Okay. First of all, so we got a new person up here. We understand that we are in a spiritual warfare. You say principalities. Yes, we are in a spiritual warfare. We understand that. And so with that being said, you got to understand that this is a spiritual warfare. This is a spiritual attack on men of God. And so we understand what principalities is. And so there are demons that we can see. We understand what they want to come and do. They want to destroy us. They want to kill and destroy what we trying to do. What we're trying to do is live for God, live holy and righteous. And so in that, we understand that the enemy is going to come to distract us. He's going to try to derail our mission, our purpose. He is out to do that. And we understand that he's trying to do it, but he won't get no victory over here. Not with me and not with Rodney and not anybody that's trying to live for God. We understand that it's going to be attacked on our lives. We understand we have a target on our backs, but living for Christ, we stand for the love of God. We understand that we're going to go through things. We're going to suffer. Long suffering comes for living for God. We understand that. We know the mission. We understand our purpose in life. And so, yes, we understand all those things. We understand we have an attack on our lives, because when we stand for God, there is an attack. We know that. We understand that. And that's why we desire to live for God.
This goes to the person that does not want to hear your answer. He just wants to distract. This goes right under there. That's why I didn't really, I wasn't really going to address him anyway, because he came in hot and not even, apparently he's never watched this show before. Apparently he's just coming in here trying to cause confusion. He's trying to do exactly what you just explained, because he before you can even finish answering, he already said, answer my question. I didn't need an explanation. So he didn't even listen to what you had to say. So this is another example of a person who just wants to be blinded and who does not want to have an actual conversation with us, who does not want to actually hear what we got to say and to hear what he has to say. So, I mean, you can waste your time explaining to him or answering his questions, but he don't want the answer anyway. So, I mean, it's all good for him to come in the way he came in. Just let me know that, it wasn't even worth talking to him. And because, it is Rodney, what it is, brother.
No, Rodney, uncomfortable. Yes, look, uncomfortable truth.
Oh, I'm comfortable.
No, not you. I'm saying that's what it is. It's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable for him. Yeah, it's uncomfortable for him.
That's where it's at.
Because if he has to admit that he's wrong, or if he has to admit that that his belief isn't the right belief, then he'll probably lose his mind. You know what I'm saying? That's probably what his whole identity is based upon. So, I mean, you gotta let all that go, bro. Like I said, if they don't want the help, then you can't help, bro. You even said that. You know what I'm saying? So,
listen, you want to understand God's posture.
Yeah, if you want to believe your sin is justified, then believe it's justified. That ain't, all I can do is know that it ain't. You know what I'm saying? So the very fact that you had to even do what you did, it lets me know, you know what I'm saying, that you don't know what you don't know. what you're talking about. You want to just come in here and, like you said, distract, like you said, So
But sometimes look, we had that on here before. Sometimes you gotta speak right to them directly.
hey,
Somebody's
bro.
and you'll get one. I've seen you get into those days with like, hold up, now we're not doing it. And exactly, this is a safe space, a conversation, and we trying to encourage. We ain't trying to distract. We trying to encourage people across the world, man. And just being open and transparent. Just talk about how we get a relationship. How do we
There you go.
get this relationship? That's the question.
Hey,
if you don't have a relationship,
people think that just because we're here on a mic that we are trying to change people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to make you believe our opinion, and our opinion is fact. Hey, bro, you ain't got to believe what I believe. You ain't got to do it all. But what I can tell you is that if you do get a relationship with God, your beliefs will change. Mine did. You know what I'm saying? Mine did. I thought a lot of things that was happening in this world was acceptable. Like it's all right. Everybody's doing it. Well, guess what? That don't make it right. You know what I'm saying? We want to talk about the uncomfortable truth. Just because everybody's doing it is even more of a factor of that why it's sin. You know what I'm saying? Because because God's will and what God has for you is not it's like you would say all the time, Chef. It's the narrow path. If you're doing what everybody else is doing, then 9 times out of 10, you're probably not doing what God has for you. Because what God has for you is only for you, and it's not for everyone. You know what I'm saying? And it's not for anyone to just force it down your throat. I'm not forcing nothing down nobody. I'm not forcing nothing on no one. If you don't want to believe what I believe, then that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean I'm going to stop believing it. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean that you're going to change me because you came in and wanted to be disruptive, and all of a sudden now I'm supposed to change my beliefs. That's just as much as I don't believe that I'm going to change yours. But I know God will. I know if you build a relationship with him, then he will. You know what I'm saying? He will change your beliefs. He will change your heart. He will change the way that you talk about certain things or certain what's the word? Certain topics. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, hey man, if you want to, whatever you want to do is up to you, man. I love you, brother, and I hope that I don't know if you a brother or not, or a sister or whatever, but I can't tell by your name. But I hope that whatever you looking for, I hope God gives it to you. You know what I'm saying? I hope God gives it to you, and I hope that you get understanding for the questions that you're asking. Because if you're asking us questions and you don't want the answer, then ask God. Talk to him. Talk to him, and hopefully you don't do the same thing when he answers. Hopefully you take the time to actually listen and process what God has to say to you, and not just, cut him off. You didn't even, why ask the question if you didn't even want the answer? So that's all I got to say. You spent the time to get on your phone and type in a question. And then Chef Dennis didn't even get 5 words into the question before you ain't answering the question. Well, you was not even listening. You don't even know, because you already didn't want the answer. And the problem is, we're gonna talk about some uncomfortable truths. A lot of people do that with God. A lot of people do. They ask these questions and they ask these things, but they don't want the answer. They want the answer that they want. They want the answer that the world tells them they should get. They want the answer that makes them feel all cuddly inside and good. I'm bringing out my inner T right now, my inner lady T. You know what I'm saying? They want what's gonna make them feel cuddly. They don't want the real answer that is for that, because they don't want that uncomfortable truth. That's what we talking about, right?
That's it, man. Look, hey, at the end of the day, man, let's talk about how do we get to that final destination. How do we get to that final destination? How? We got work on. We got a lot to work on. That goes for every. We all got things that we got to work on. We all got things that we have to be delivered from. We all have things that we have to constantly die daily in our flesh, constantly, because we all have different desires. We all have different wants. So how do we get to that point? How we get to that point of where saying, Lord, I just want to do all your will for my life. And so we grow on that. Like you said, Ronnie, you always say this: prayer, relationship. But guess what? In that relationship, you definitely got to have prayer constantly, because that's your conversation with God. And guess what? Some people say, oh, I can't hear God. But guess what? Trust me, eventually he'll start speaking to you because you're in prayer. And it has to be consistent. You can't do it one day and say, God, or some he may answer you right away. Then sometimes this guy, he want to see the consistency. He want to see, are you being real? Because guess what? He already know your heart. So you can say, oh, Lord, help me, Lord. He hears your heart already. Guess what? 9 times out of 10, God has already shown you mercy. He's already giving you grace. How did he does that? Because you woke up the next day and you know you're not living right. And you still wake up. And you still able to go to work. And you still able to have a car and go to work, or the train or the bus. You still doing that. So you talk about God don't answer you, God hear you. But it's not about just hearing, it's about being doers of the word. And so in your relationship, in your prayer, you ask God to help you understand the purpose for your life. Help you understand, why am I in this season? Help you understand, Lord, I don't know how I got here. Can you reveal it to me? These are some of the things you got to ask God. Not me, not Rodney, not your wife, not your kids. You ask God, how did I get to this place? I really don't know. I really don't understand. How did I get here? Can you show me? That's your prayer. That's how you pray. You ask him, and he'll show you. He'll reveal it to you. It might not be what you want, but he'll uncover and unveil the truth for you. You're gonna be like, I did not know this, because you blind. And that's not in the saying that in a mean way. You blind because you don't know. You don't know why you got here. You just did it blindly, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna live my life and not look for no explanation. That's it.
Watch our previous shows, brother. If you want to know what experience we got, watch our previous shows, bro. We got hundreds and hundreds of hours. I know Chef Dennis does. Please watch, go back, and I don't have to clarify or justify my experience with you. Once again, I'm not telling you to come to me. I think Chef Dennis, that's the point. You're not listening, right, Chef Dennis? Because At what point did you say come to me?
No.
He wants to ask, what experience do you have? Sir, we don't want you to come ask us for anything.
Right.
Chef Dennis, you just said, go to God.
That's what, look, you say what? Look, watch this. He said, what experience do I have? All right, I'm going to show you the experience. See, Rodney won't tell you. I'll tell you my experience. My experience is loving on God, loving on people, being a service to people, to show them how it is to serve God, what it brings to me. It brings joy to see other people serving God. It brings me great joy that when you living in the darkness and you come to the marvelous light, that's the experience. That's the experience that I have. Seen people knowing their life and how they live, and they begin to serve God. They begin to live for God. That's the experience. That's what I had, to see them. And guess what? I too used to be there. I too used to live in the darkness. I too used to be homeless. And now look at me. Look at how I'm living right now. And I still knew who God was. And I still didn't want to live for him, but now I do. Now I serve him, and now I look at all the people that's around me that used to be the same way. Now they serving God. Now they worshiping. Now they learn how to pray. Now they learn how to worship God. That's my experience being in the darkness, coming to the marvelous light. Yes, that's the experience. That's the joy that I receive in serving God. That's why I do what I do. Not for man, I do it for God. God has given me the zeal to serve him, a zeal to show what it is to serve him, a zeal to show that, guess what? God loves everybody, but he wants you to come out come out of the darkness and come to the marvelous light. He is the marvelous light. That's my experience. When I've been in all the car accidents that I've been in, I shouldn't have walked away, but I've walked away. So guess what? It brings me great joy to see others that's been in the same places I've been serving God, and especially the men, because guess what? Change the narrative. Change the narrative of what a man is supposed to look like, what a man is supposed to do for God. That's what my experience is.
I have literally seen God help brothers and sisters take away demons, bro. Yeah, this dude ain't listening to nothing. Or
Of course. Oh, look,
it's all good, bro.
I know. Right? He said, "It sounds like
It's all good.
I've been outside. Yeah, I've been outside.
Sound
Not
like
barely.
you
I've
barely
been
been outside.
I know.
It's
I've been
all good.
outside.
Hey, bro,
I've been outside.
Can we
Yeah.
stop giving this dude even acknowledge? Can we stop acknowledging him?
But
Bro?
at the end, look, listen. But you know,
I will pray for my man.
yeah. But look, at the end of the day, man, listen, that's the move to change the narrative with the King movement. That's going to resonate all over. And by the way, Rodney, check out Sunday. We're gonna be on the show Sunday too.
Gonna be on what show?
Harrison Family.
Oh, for real? Oh, congratulations.
A group of us. We're gonna talk about our experience. So it's gonna be on Sunday. It's definitely gonna be an experience. Uh-oh. Hey, Rodney, you see this?
I already saw it, bro. You already know. I knew that's where he was going when he said you've literally helped brothers and sisters fight demons. That's why I said no. I've seen God deliver brothers and sisters, because that's where he's trying to go. He's trying to go. You get those people who want to just take verses and don't know substance, and don't know who was being talked to at that time and what they're actually saying. So they use it to whatever purpose that they're trying to use. And I mean, it's all good, brother. I'm glad that you have read. I wish that you had a relationship with God when you did read, because if you have a relationship with God and you do read, then God will give you spiritual knowledge, sir. No experience looking children. I don't even know what that means.
Here's the thing.
I'm glad you've read, and I hope you build that relationship, bro. Like, I don't got nothing else for you but to tell you to build a relationship with God. That if you don't like what we're saying, if you don't like what we're saying, you can easily leave. But apparently you like it, or you want to be a part of it. If you want to be a part, just ask to come on the show. You ain't gotta hide behind comments.
Yeah. You want to come on the show?
You want to come on the show? Come on the show. You want to actually have a real conversation? Let's have a real conversation. You apparently just popped on us today, and then you formulated an opinion based on previous things, because there's no way that you've watched this show and you've come up with this opinion other than you just have that opinion for anybody who's talking for God. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter who it is. This is your opinion about them because they're openly talking about for God, and you don't like that. And that is fine with me.
I'm curious where their relationship is with God. That's I got a question for you. Where's your relationship with God? That's the question I'll be asking you. What relationship do you have with God? That's the question. Are you living for God? Is your life devoted to God? Yahweh? You can't fight for you can't be in a fight if you're not serving God. You got to serve God or you got to serve the devil, the adversary. Which one are you serving? Which one are you serving? You can either on day and night.
Bro, you already know the answer. You already know the answer to this by how this whole thing has happened. So
Hell yeah. I wish Lady T was here today.
You already know his answer by the first comment he dropped where he was. So, it's all good. But anyway, let's get back to the topic, man.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable truth.
Yeah.
It is
the uncomfortable truth is which God are you serving? Which God are you serving? Let's look at that. Real talk. Like who are you serving? Are you serving God, Yahweh? Are you serving the devil, Lucifer? Which one are you serving? I ain't talking about to this person. I'm just saying.
Talking to me?
No, I'm just saying. That's the question. Which, because you can't serve two masters. You only can serve one. So when you look at the world, come on, talk to me. Somebody out there.
Well, he didn't answer the question, so that lets you know who he serves. Oh. So he's deflecting the whole time. So that's what I'm saying. But I mean, you knew that by the first comment, bro. So I mean, he has an agenda, and it's cool. I mean, you can have it. That's all good. But I'm kind of done with it. Like if you're not actually trying to have a conversation, it's a waste of time for us to read his comments. And yeah, see, he can't even spell it.
But man, listen. So tomorrow, man, we got somebody. I almost got confused with them. I thought they was talking about the Christopher that came on the show. It was his wife, but no, it's another Christopher. But so yeah, we have a guest tomorrow, and it's definitely going to be good and interesting. And so, at the end of the day, man, listen, you know what it is, Rodney. So, we're going to get up out of here, get ready for tomorrow. Listen, guys, stay blessed. Know that God loves you. Get the relationship, get the healing that you need. Be encouraged. Know that God loves you, and you will see the marvelous light. Seek out his face continuously.
He's talking the fact that you're wearing a chain on your neck. That's supposed to be feminine. He's one of them. Yeah,
God
man.
bless you, bro.
I'm sorry.
Yo, Harris, I see you, brother. God bless you.
Yeah, bro. I'm sorry that
strong in the Lord. Yes. We're not entertaining that. So
it's sad when people read one book and then think they know it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Because the thing, I got one more thing to say, because I'm gonna say it real quick. And that's why you need the relationship with God. Because if you read a book and you just think that that's it, you're going to be confused. You're going to, because you're reading that book without God helping you, without God giving you that spiritual knowledge. When you read the Bible and you have a relationship with God, it's totally different than when you just read the Bible. Because you read the Bible and you'll be like this gentleman, and you'll be just taking it word for word. And if you don't have the relationship when you read to break it down to give you the spiritual enlightenment, then you just read things, and next thing you know, you're just saying, "Oh, chains make you a slave." Come on, bro. That is so pathetic. Because how does a chain make you a slave? You're only a slave if you're a slave in your own mind. You're only feminine if you're actually feminine. Nothing can make me feminine. An object cannot make me feminine. An object cannot make me a slave. Like, these things, if you're that easily convinced that you read somewhere chains make you feminine, and you're like, yeah, I believe it. And now you're coming to tell another grown man, oh, chains make you feminine. That shows you how much you don't don't have a relationship with God. And I pray for you that you do have a relationship. You get a relationship with God, and you'll understand that God has control over everything. Nothing can control anything. So a chain can't make you feminine. If you have a relationship with God, you know that a chain can't make you feminine. A chain can't make you a slave. A chain can't do this or whatever else that he had to say that we are because of he just came in here today. You know what I'm saying? It's sad that that is what the world does. You know what I'm saying? And people get so confused because they just read something and they don't have any spiritual guidance. They don't do any research. They don't do anything. They just, because someone wrote it or said it down, it's a fact. And they don't even read it in context. You know what I'm saying? They don't even read it in context. So that's the other thing that is crazy to me, that, you know, unfortunately, but that's something that I'll pray for this brother, that he'll get a relationship with God, and that he will understand that nothing has power. A chain don't make you something. You know, because you're you know, I don't know. I can't even think of all the other. He's one of those. If you say blessed, that means be less. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those guys that you know, if I say God bless you, then you be like, oh, you're telling me to be less. Like what? Like, how do you just change? Like, you just make up something, or oh, don't say good morning, because that's morning. You say grand rising, and grand rising is what you call it. You know, he's one of those guys that read something in a book and just like, oh, you know, look, you're a slave to this and what you call it to that. And yeah, man, I'm good. I mean, I feel for you. I understand some people are like that in life, but you know, it's not what it is. And like I said, if you definitely followed us more often, you know that we are not the things that you're claiming for us to be. So
He said,
it's all good. I'm done.
And get to know, like you said, Roddy, you gotta get to know us. You gotta understand that we real deal. There ain't no.
Come on back in here tomorrow, bro.
Yeah, come
Check
on.
us out. We got some more people. We're gonna talk some more stuff.
Yes, sir.
You know, I hope the more you watch us, the more that you will
transformation.
Yeah, man. I hope that we can help you build a relationship with God.
Yeah.
That you can build that and understand that, you know, because I mean, you giving power to chains, you giving power to all these things just by the way we just got in here, and you just wanted to say something. Yeah, you know. Now it's so sad. Yet now you want to you be in there and flail an insult. I'm okay, bro. I'm very happy with my life and myself and my hairline. And I don't know if you talking about Chef Dennis or me. I don't care. It don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? I promise you, bro. You know, you got to understand that, you know, but I mean, it is sad, and I will be praying for you tonight, brother. And I hope that things get better in your life, that you don't feel that you have to try to intimidate people in comments. So
let's get out of here. Listen, guys, be blessed. We see you guys tomorrow.
Sure. Holler at y'all tomorrow. Peace. Harrison, Dr. Toya, Dr. T, I'll be watching. I'm gonna try to check out your show after this. Yep. Get some work done. You know, people that came and hang out with us. So.
All right.